The rising sun painted long shadows across Kepler 442b as Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the Prometheus. From orbit, the colony below looked serene. Green valleys carried farms and modest cities glimmered like beads of glass. It had taken 2 decades for humanity to shape this planet into a home for 500,000 souls. Chen, tall with steel-gray hair and battle-worn eyes, wore the plain blue uniform of the Colonial Defense Corps. Her vessel was nothing like the sleek warships she had once commanded during the Earth Wars. The Prometheus was a massive block of armor and ceramic plating, closer to a freighter than a cruiser. That illusion suited Chen's plan. The bridge hummed softly with machine noise. Lieutenant Martinez monitored the sensor boards, scanning the emptiness around their star. Anson Park sifted through the colony's comm traffic, while Dr. Elena Vasquez studied a console disguised as a standard terminal but holding far greater significance. Suddenly, Martinez stiffened. "Captain, I have multiple contacts on long-range sensors. They just jumped in at the system's edge." Chen crossed to his station. 12 immense silhouettes surged toward the inner planets, toward the colony. "Size?" she asked. "Roughly 3 times our length. No identification signals." Chen nodded grimly. She had been waiting for this moment. Humanity had believed itself alone among the stars until 3 months ago, when a probe arrived with a stark declaration. This region belonged to others. Humanity was unwelcome. The decision had been final. "Captain," Park called. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies." On screen. The main display lit with the image of a dark-skinned being. Violet flesh stretched over a massive skull with 4 golden eyes arranged in a diamond. Its jaws split wide, rows of teeth glinting. The translator flattened its words. "I am Admiral Czar of the Vorak hegemony. This system is ours. The primitive race called human will abandon all claims within 1 standard day. Any who remain will be annihilated. We have conquered 17 species. Your resistance will be brief. This is your only warning." The feed cut. "Well, Doctor," Vasquez murmured. "That was warm." Chen nearly smiled. Elena had stood beside her for 8 years, through rebellions and wars, always carrying humor into hopeless moments. Martinez, report on their ships. "Not in any known database," he replied. "Hulls are organic composites. Power readings suggest plasma cannon banks, heavy shields. Very advanced." "ETA?" 6 hours. Chen stood at the center of the bridge, staring into the void. 12 alien warships were bearing down to erase humanity's outpost. The Vorak expected a routine engagement. They believed humans fought. Like everyone else. They would soon learn otherwise. "Dr. Vasquez, status of the package. All systems green. Delivery platform charged and locked on target. Good. Park, alert colony control. Initiate Code 7. Code 7 meant evacuation. Every colonist had to reach transports or shelters within hours. Park's fingers danced. Then, message acknowledged. Evacuation underway. Chen hoped it was fast enough. What came next would be visible from the planet itself. "Captain," Martinez said, "enemy formation shifting. Attack line center. Ship leading. Classic. They'd concentrate fire until defenses failed. Their scans would show the Prometheus as a clumsy hauler. Steel armor, ceramic plates, fusion reactors. No shields. No heavy weapons. Just an overbuilt cargo ship. Exactly as intended. Another transmission crackled through. Admiral Czar appeared again, his 4 eyes gleaming with contempt. "Humans, you insult us. You send a freighter to face the greatest fleet of this sector. Your technology lags centuries behind. This is no battle. This is your execution. Perhaps some of you will survive as specimens." His teeth shone as he leaned closer. The feed ended. "Charming fellow," Vasquez muttered. Chen's eyes swept her crew. Veterans of 3 wars, calm yet taut with tension. They understood. Their survival was unlikely. Listen closely, Chen said. In 5 hours we fire one shot, then this ends, one way or another. For 30 years, humanity has prepared for this day. The galaxy thinks we are weak. Today we prove the difference between looking weak and being weak. Orders, Captain? Martinez asked. Begin final preparations. Vasquez, charge sequence. Martinez, plot intercept. Park, send our reply. Humanity declines. As the crew moved, Chen gazed at the enemy closing in. Czar had promised execution. He was correct, just not for whom. The Prometheus rolled slowly, aligning with the Vorak center ship. To the aliens, it would look like desperation, a futile suicide run. Chen prayed they believed it, until the moment everything changed. The war for humanity's survival would begin with a single strike, one destined to echo through the stars. The bridge of the Prometheus fell into focused silence as its captain walked the stations, steady as iron. Outside, the Vorak fleet advanced. The countdown had begun. Before the battle began, Dr. Elena Vasquez worked steadily at her console. The device in front of her seemed ordinary, just screens of numbers and graphs, but those figures represented 3 decades of human ingenuity. The package was humanity's response to a galaxy that appeared intent on crushing them. Charge. At 40%, she reported calmly. All magnetic fields stable. Targeting computer is finalizing calculations. How long until full? Chen asked. 3 hours, 20 minutes. Perfect. At the weapons station, Chief Petty Officer. Kim moved through his checklist again. A compact, quiet veteran of 15 years, Kim had fired every weapon the Defense Force owned. Railguns, missiles, even pirate plasma cannons. But never anything like this. All systems nominal, he said. Accelerator aligned, power coupling, secure. Chen studied the tactical display. The Vorak fleet remained 4 hours out, their formation tightening. Admiral Czar wasn't underestimating them, even if he believed Prometheus was nothing but a reinforced hauler. Martinez, she said. Their armament? The lieutenant frowned at his readings. Each ship mounts at least 20 plasma cannon, banks. Output levels are extreme. I'm also detecting particle weapons beyond anything we know. Their shields, Captain, our conventional arsenal wouldn't scratch them. Which is why, Chen replied quietly, we won't be using conventional weapons on the planet. Evacuation continued smoothly. Shuttles lifted from the central port every few minutes, ferrying colonists into the mountain shelters built for asteroid strikes, sturdy enough, hopefully, for what was about to happen in orbit. Colony. Control, this is Prometheus. Status? Chen asked. Director Walsh's voice came through steady. 80% underground. Remainder secured in 2 hours. Keep them sealed for 6 hours after engagement. Understood. Good hunting, Captain. Walsh knew what was at stake. Once a soldier himself, he also knew Chen's odds. Back on the bridge, Anson Park monitored Vorak transmissions. They weren't encrypted. Chen suspected the aliens wanted them to hear. What are they saying? Park hesitated. Discussing how to divide our colony. Czar wants the main continent for a base. Others argue over mining rights, and whether to kill all humans or keep some as slave labor. Charming, Vasquez muttered, not looking up. I'm rather eager to show them our package. Chen stood at the viewport, gazing into the black where Czar surely sat, confident as ever. 17 species had fallen before the Vorak, crushed by overwhelming firepower, advanced tech, and endless arrogance. That same arrogance would undo them today. Captain, Martinez said, more transmissions. They're broadcasting system-wide. What kind? Recordings. Admiral Czar is transmitting live feeds to Vorak colonies. He wants the galaxy to witness this execution. Chen wasn't surprised. Let them. We'll give them something worth watching. The next 2 hours dragged. The crew rehearsed procedures repeatedly while the package charged without issue. On sensors, the Vorak armada drew nearer, signatures blazing. Chen's mind drifted back 8 years to when she'd first heard of the project. The Mars Rebellion had just ended, and the Defense Force sought new ways to protect humanity's frontier. Conventional weapons demanded massive ships and staggering resources. Vasquez had proposed another path, not bigger warheads or missiles, but physics itself. A projectile accelerated to sufficient velocity could unleash more force than any explosive humanity had ever conceived. The principle was elegant. The challenge lay in making it real. The charge ticked up, 75%. Dr. Vasquez reported, all systems stable. Chen checked the chronometer on her chair. In 90 minutes, the Vorak fleet would be in range. Already, they had shown off their plasma cannons, firing test bursts into the void, bright beams visible for thousands of kilometers. Park, Chen asked, any new demands for surrender? No, Captain. Admiral Czar seems convinced his first message was enough. Chen allowed herself a thin smile. His arrogance was useful. Another species might have offered terms or tried to negotiate. The Vorak's blind certainty made everything clearer. Chief Kim lifted his head from the weapons console. Captain, about the recoil. Are we sure Prometheus can take it? Before Chen could answer, Vasquez spoke. The accelerator will absorb most of the force. The structure can handle the rest. Probably. Probably? Kim asked. We'll know soon enough, Chen said. If the ship holds, we win. If not, there won't be anything left to worry about. The bridge sank into silence. Everyone understood the stakes. One shot. If it struck true, the enemy would be gone. If not, 12 warships would erase them in seconds. Charge at 90%, Vasquez called. Final alignment beginning. Chen keyed the intercom. All hands, this is the captain. Enemy engagement in 1 hour. Trust your training. Trust your equipment. Today we defend more than this colony. We defend humanity's future among the stars. Every species will learn what happens when they threaten us. She paused, eyes sweeping her bridge crew. It has been an honor to serve with you. The channel cut. Outside, the Vorak armada pressed onward, unaware they were walking into a trap 3 decades in the making. Admiral Czar stood within the command chamber of his flagship, the World Breaker. Bioluminescent nodes pulsed across the living walls, responsive to his neural implants. Officers manned their organic stations with precision. On the main display, the human vessel appeared, an unimpressive rectangle of steel. Hours of scans confirmed it. No shields, crude reactors, primitive armor fit for industry, not war. To Czar, it was laughable. Commander Thuse, Czar said to his second, begin recording. Every world in this sector will see what happens to resistance. The comms officer's array flared alive. Admiral, broadcast engaged. 12 star systems will receive it within the hour. Good. Czar's mandibles spread in satisfaction. For 2 centuries, the Vorak had crushed species with a single lesson: submit or be annihilated. This human colony would be the 18th reminder. Admiral, the gunnery officer reported, all plasma arrays charged. Particle beam online. Do we disable their engines? Czar considered. Normally, foes were crippled, then broken. But these humans had been obstinate. No. Target their weapons. I want them conscious, helpless, as they watch their colony burn. Then we finish them. The Vorak bridge crew moved with ruthless efficiency. Centuries of conquest had sharpened their doctrine. Superior firepower, advanced technology, and the conviction no primitive race could oppose them. On the tactical screen, the human ship shifted position, angling directly toward the Vorak line. Czar's 4 eyes narrowed in amusement. It looked as if the hauler intended a frontal assault. Admiral, one officer asked, should we alter formation? Let them come, Czar replied, amused. I want to see what they think this foolish charge will achieve. The range closed, steadily. In 30 minutes, the humans would enter optimal weapons distance. Tsar could have fired already, but he preferred to wait. He wanted to witness the human captain's expression the instant her vessel was torn apart. "Admiral," the comms officer said, "a transmission from the human ship." On screen, the display shifted, revealing a human female in a plain blue uniform. Gray hair framed calm eyes like a predator before the strike. The sight unsettled Tsar more than he cared to admit, for reasons he couldn't name. "I am Captain Sarah Chen, of the Colonial Defense Force vessel Prometheus," the human declared. "Admiral Tsar, I'm granting you one last chance to withdraw from this system peacefully." Zakhtar laughed, a sharp noise like glass splintering. "You dare offer me terms? You stand aboard a single freighter against 12 dreadnoughts. Your guns cannot pierce our shielding. Your armor cannot endure our plasma batteries. What do you believe you can achieve?" The human captain's face remained steady. "I am giving you the opportunity to survive. That is more mercy than you have given to the 17 species you enslaved." 17 species who learned the cost of resisting the hegemony, Tsar answered coldly. "Today, humanity will join them. Your courage is impressive, Captain Chen, yet courage cannot defeat inevitability." "We'll see," Chen replied, cutting the transmission. Zakhtar stared at the blank screen, unsettled. Something in the human's voice gnawed at him. Not terror, not resignation, confidence. What secret gave these primitives such certainty? "Admiral," the tactical officer reported, "the human vessel has entered optimal range. Shall we commence?" Zakhtar studied the tactical holo again. The Prometheus lay squarely in the middle of his firing arc. Every ship could strike it at once. It had no path to escape. All ships, fire at will. Target their drives and weapons. I want them disabled, not annihilated. Space around the world breaker flared in brilliant light as 12 Vorthak dreadnoughts unleashed their plasma fire. Torrents of searing energy streaked across the void toward the human craft. The beams glowed bright enough to be seen from orbit below, a dazzling showcase of the hegemony's dominance. The bolts slammed into the Prometheus, detonations blooming across its armor. Zakhtar's eyes narrowed in satisfaction as chunks of plating were torn away. But the vessel did not stop. It didn't falter or lose momentum. The wounds appeared, grave, yet the ship pressed forward as though the attack was little more than nuisance. "Report!" Zakhtar snapped. The weapons officer frowned at his console. "Sir, our shots hit squarely across the target's hull, but the damage is superficial. Their plating absorbs most of the energy. Impossible. Our cannons can pierce any known alloy. The humans are fielding some form of kinetic armor, sir, absorbs energy instead of deflecting it. I've never seen anything comparable." A flicker of unease crawled into Zakhtar's chest. Those blasts should have shattered the human vessel instantly. Instead, they barely scarred its surface. What kind of backward race would invent armor meant to counter energy fire? "Sir," the comms officer called, "incoming transmission from the human ship." Captain Chen appeared again. Her ship had just endured enough power to erase a metropolis, yet her expression remained calm. "Admiral," she said evenly, "thank you for the demonstration. Our defenses functioned perfectly. Now let me reveal what human weaponry can achieve." The screen cut, and Zakhtar realized the Prometheus had shifted position. It was centered precisely among his fleet, all 12 dreadnoughts surrounding it in a flawless circle. "Admiral!" the tactical officer shouted. "Their vessel is charging a system! Massive energy spike in the forward section!" Zakhtar froze as he saw the readings. The human ship wasn't fleeing or seeking a firing angle. It had deliberately placed itself in the middle of his formation. "All vessels, reinforce shields," he ordered. "Prepare for—" He never finished. Captain Chen was about to teach the Vorak. Hegemony, the deadliest predator, is often the one feigning weakness. Space around the Prometheus twisted, breaking every law of battle Zakhtar trusted. Humanity was about to prove that 3 decades of preparation could eclipse centuries of domination in one strike. Admiral Czar's reign of terror would end in a single shot, rewriting the galaxy's rules of war. Captain Chen stood calmly at the heart of her bridge, eyes on the tactical screen showing 12 alien warships circling like predators. Vorak plasma fire had scarred the hull, but that was as expected. Human armor wasn't meant to impress. It was meant to endure. Dr. Vasquez, final status, Chen ordered. Elena looked up with a faint grin. Systems are green, Captain. Payload charged, locked, and ready. The magnetic accelerator is aligned and awaiting your word. Chief Kim checked his console with final precision. Sequence armed, all safeties cleared. Chen turned to the crew that had followed her through 3 wars and countless battles. Each had volunteered knowing this mission might be their last, yet each understood their sacrifice would preserve millions and send a message echoing across the stars. Martinez, confirm relative positioning. Center of formation, Captain. 12 ships in a perfect ring around us. Range, 4,000 kilometers. We are completely surrounded. Chen gave a single nod. The Dvorak had done precisely what Chen intended. Their formation placed her ship squarely at the heart of their firepower, concentrating every weapon onto a single target. Against ordinary foes, it was devastating. Against the package, it was suicide. Admiral Zakhtar is hailing again, Ensign Park reported. On screen. The alien commander appeared, his 4 golden eyes blazing with fury and disbelief. Captain, Chen, your plating may have endured our first volley, but you cannot withstand a full barrage. Yield now, and I will grant you a swift death. Chen met his gaze without flinching. Admiral, 30 years ago, humanity's greatest minds asked a single question. How do you defeat an empire with superior ships, weapons, and technology? Zakhtar's expression hardened. What are you saying? The answer, Chen said evenly, is you don't outgun them. You don't outbuild them. You find the one advantage they cannot match, and you wield it to balance the scales. And Lebe, alien leaned forward. What edge could your primitive kind possess? Chen's smile was like ice. Patience. Humanity spent 30 years forging the weapon that ends your empire. We call it the package. That's why my ship resembles a hauler, because that's exactly what it is, a freighter carrying one piece of cargo unlike any other. On Prometheus's bridge, Dr. Vasquez keyed final settings. The so-called package was nothing more than a tungsten slug, the size of a baseball. For months it had been accelerated through gravitational slingshots and antimatter drives, reaching 99.7% light speed. It had waited at the system's edge until the Vorak arrived. Prometheus simply intercepted and guided it toward target. You see, Admiral, Chen said, your kind dreams of beams and shields, bigger cannons, stronger armor. We think in terms of physics, and physics dictates. An object fast enough becomes the deadliest weapon in existence. Zakhtar's brow furrowed as realization struck. What have you done? We've turned your own tactics on you. You surrounded us to annihilate with focused fire, but you've also placed yourselves perfectly for one killing blow. Chen faced her weapons officer. Chief Kim, fire when ready. Kim pressed the trigger. Package away, Captain. To outside eyes, nothing happened. No flash, no beam, no visible round. The ship merely trembled as magnetic rails released the package on course. For 0.7 seconds, nothing changed. It moved so quickly light itself lagged behind. The slug crossed. 4,000 kilometers to the world breaker faster than a heartbeat. When it struck Admiral Czar's flagship, the universe obeyed physics. The energy unleashed equaled multiple nuclear blasts, condensed to a pinpoint. The world breaker, vast bio-organic terror of 17 systems, ceased to exist. Its forward half vaporized. Instantly, the aft began to shear before the plasma cloud consumed it. But destruction had only begun. The strike birthed a false star. Core temperatures soared past 50 million degrees. The shockwave raced outward at a fraction of light speed, hurling debris and energy able to liquefy planets. The other 11 dreadnoughts never reacted. Their shields, built to block beams, were worthless against relativistic debris and kinetic fury. Closest ships ripped apart by shrapnel traveling near light speed. The rest drowned in an expanding sphere of plasma, erased without trace. In under 30 seconds, from Kim's firing to the last ship's end, the mightiest Vorhak fleet vanished. When readings steadied, Chen stared at her display. Empty space where 12 warships once threatened her colony. The Empire's pride reduced to vapor and fragments. "My God," Vasquez breathed, eyes on her console. The release exceeded every prediction. Martinez checked his scanners thrice before speaking. "Captain, I detect no survivors, no vessels, nothing larger than a few meters." Chen nodded grimly. The package had functioned exactly as intended. 30 years of human effort condensed into a single blow that remade warfare. Park, open channel to colony control. "Channel open, Captain. Colony control. This is Prometheus. The threat is neutralized. Civilians may return." Relief flooded Director Walsh's reply. "Captain, our scopes registered the detonation. Tell me it was their fleet and not you." "Their fleet no longer exists," Chen answered. "Prometheus remains combat ready." She paused, glancing at her crew, architects of history. "Colony control. Compile full report for Earth. The Defense Force will want confirmation the package project succeeded." Silence filled the bridge, broken only by the hum of systems. Outside, peace returned to the void. Yet word of this battle would spread swiftly, bearing one truth to every world that doubted mankind. They were wrong. Disastrously, fatally wrong. 3 hours later, Chen stood in her ready room, staring at drifting remnants of what had been the sector's most dreaded armada. From the colony below, the blast had appeared as a newborn star, brighter than the system's sun for 12 seconds. Now only scattered atoms marked Tsar and his 12 dreadnoughts. The door chimed, and Dr. Vasquez entered, holding a data pad and 2 cups. She passed one across, settling opposite her captain. "Final analysis complete," Elena said. The package performed exactly as predicted. The kinetic energy equaled 43 nuclear warheads. The blast radius stretched 15,000 kilometers. Nothing within survived. Chen drank slowly, considering. "And our ship? How did we endure proximity?" Prometheus was placed just beyond the kill radius. Our plating handled the EMP and radiation surge. We lost some outer armor, but all critical systems held. And the delivery system? Elena Chen smiled grimly. Completely destroyed, as expected. The magnetic accelerators had been vaporized in the blast. Rebuilding would take 6 months, assuming Earth could supply the components. Chen nodded. Each package could only ever be fired once. The launch rails had to be reconstructed after every shot, and each tungsten slug required years of acceleration to reach combat velocity. It was never meant for drawn-out wars, but as a statement of human capability, one strike had been sufficient. Captain Park's voice came over the intercom. Multiple transmissions incoming. Some unusual. Chen and Vasquez returned to the bridge, where Park had arranged the messages by source and urgency. The board lit with signals from dozens of systems. "What do we have?" Chen asked. Park, barely containing excitement, explained. "Sir, word spread faster than expected. The Vorak broadcast their attack across open channels. Entire star systems watched Zaktar's fleet erased in real time. Show me the priority messages." The screen filled with alien visages. First was an insectoid with compound eyes and clacking mandibles. "Greetings, humans of Prometheus. I am Hive, Speaker Zak, of the Kitness Collective. We witnessed your triumph over the Vorak oppressors. Our kind was the 14th enslaved. We seek discussion of alliance and mutual defense. Next came a towering tree being, silver bark shimmering with living light. Captain Chen, I am Grove Mind Silverleaf of the Botanical Congress. The Vorak destroyed 3 of our colonies last cycle. We offer refueling rights in exchange for protection. Message after message followed, from species conquered, cowed, or threatened. The destruction of Zaktar's fleet had done more than remove danger. It shattered the illusion of Vorak invulnerability that held dozens of peoples in fear. Any hostile replies? Chen asked. Park's face hardened. Several, Captain. Demands for our weapons data. A few threatened war if we refuse to share the package design. And our answer? The same message you approved. Humanity seeks peace with all. Yet we prepare for war with equal resolve. Choose wisely. Vasquez studied the display. Incredible how. Quickly it spreads. Within weeks, every inhabited system will know. Chen considered. For 30 years, humanity trained in secret, building weapons, drilling crews, designing tactics. Now, the veil was gone. Every species would learn humans possessed a weapon capable of erasing fleets in a single strike. Some would seek alliance. Others would covet the technology. And some might decide mankind was too great a threat to exist. Martinez's voice broke the silence. New contacts detected. Edge of system. 3 vessels. Unknown design. Closing fast. Chen stepped to tactical. Sleek craft, smaller than dreadnoughts, moved with unsettling grace. Identification signals? Yes, sir. They claim to represent the Galactic Trade Consortium, requesting approach and diplomatic audience. Chen knew of them. Powerful beyond measure, controlling commerce among hundreds of species. If they came directly, the news had already reached the highest echelons. Grant approach clearance, but keep weapons hot. Dr. Vasquez, how long to prepare another package? Elena checked her pad. Impossible with current stock. We must return to Luna yards to rebuild launch rails, and we have no spare tungsten rounds accelerated to velocity. Then only conventional arms remain if they turn hostile. Afraid so. But Captain, the consortium doesn't survive by making enemies of species that annihilate fleets. They profit through deals. 2 hours later, Chen sat across from 3 alien envoys in Prometheus's conference hall. The lead diplomat, tall and elegant, with pale blue skin and thoughtful eyes, introduced itself as Trade Minister of the Consortium Council. Captain Chen, it said in flawless English, we observed your demonstration. The Galactic Trade Consortium desires formal relations with humanity. What kind? Chen asked carefully. Mutual benefit. Your kind wields unprecedented weaponry. The consortium holds resources, knowledge, and networks across space. We believe partnership serves both. A hologram lit the room with sprawling trade routes. The Vorak ruled 17 systems and their lanes. With their fleet destroyed, those territories lie open. We propose joint development, human military protection, consortium economic administration. Chen studied the map. The systems included rich mining belts and vital hyperspace junctions. The offer was staggering. What do you want in return? Nothing. Unreasonable. We respect that your technology must remain secret, but occasional demonstrations of military might to deter aggressors from threatening consortium interests would be appreciated. Vasquez leaned forward. You want us to act as your enforcers? Minister Veltar's face betrayed no emotion. We prefer security partners. The galaxy breeds predators like the Vorak. The consortium maintains peace with trade and diplomacy, but sometimes stronger measures are required. Chen weighed it. Humanity's plan had always been slow expansion. New colonies, gradual defenses. Now the consortium offered to fast-track everything. I must consult with my government, Chen said. Naturally. But you should know similar proposals will be made to other species showing military promise. The